Hi guys, James at Rampant Lion Reviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we are going to head over to America once again, and for the second time, in quite recent times actually, we are going to go back to Hawaii. And the last Hawaiian beer I reviewed for you, or kind of half Hawaiian beer I guess, was the collaboration that I did, the Owaihi, the collaboration between Revision from Reno in Nevada and Kohala Brewery actually. And Kohala do have a connection to this brewery that I'm about to review for you. So for the first time we are going to go to Maui Brewing Company, who have been, they've been quite long established actually on Hawaii, but this is a brewery that I've always wanted to try, but it's actually quite difficult to get a hold of their cans here in Sweden. I've never actually seen them here, or even over in Copenhagen when I go over there. So this is a brewery I know do some very, very good stuff, and today we're having a taste of their Double Overhead, which is their double IPA, coming in at 8.5%. And this is quite a highly rated beer. On Rate Beer this one had a 96 when I was checking it out earlier, and I think it was into the 4 stars actually when I was checking it out on Untappd as well. Special shout out to two people in this one. First of course to Scott Bowersock, who's followed the channel for a number of years. He lives in Hawaii and has invited me out numerous times to visit, so I do need to find time to actually take him up on that offer. It's something I would absolutely love to do, so shout out to him since we're reviewing a beer from his home state. And also a shout out as well to Koji at Liquor Shop Asahiya in Taishibashi Maichi in Osaka. This is where I picked up this beer. As I said, the Maui Brewing Company beers can be a little bit difficult to get a hold of here in Europe, but they are, if you go to a good craft beer shop in Japan, they're not too difficult to find. But I'm glad that I'm finally able to review one of their beers for you, and I hope you guys enjoy my take on this one. So anyway, as is usual with my reviews then, I'll tell you a little bit about the brewery. If you want to get straight to the tasting, just fast forward. All the usual links are in the description below. That's the brewery website, the link to my other reviews that hopefully I can do in the future from Maui Brewing Company. Very first time I'm actually tasting one of their beers, if I'm remembering correctly. There's all the usual social media. If you want to see more beer reviews, do please consider subscribing to the channel. The whole channel, of course, has a geography-based tagging system, so you can go into the homepage and search for beer based on country, city, state, county, prefecture, whatever it is you're interested in. Do check out the playlist of beers from different countries. There is one there for all the American beers that I've reviewed for you. That's constantly being added to. And as always, please do get in touch and let me know some of the other beers and breweries that you guys would like to see me review. It's always great to hear from you guys that are watching the videos, and the support that you show the channel is hugely appreciated. So anyway, on to my brewery notes then, to tell you a little bit about Maui Brewing Company. So Maui Brewing was founded by Garrett Marrero, and he graduated in economics from the University of California, and then he was working in finance in San Francisco for a couple of years. But he apparently had always loved Hawaii and wanted to move there, and he was also really interested in craft beer as well. And when he was actually in Hawaii on vacation, he noticed that when he was ordering a beer, he always seemed to be served beers that were brewed off island, and he noticed a business opportunity there. So in 2004, at the age of 26, he decided to move to Hawaii, and he and his then girlfriend Melanie Oxley raised some money from their families to open up their first store, which was actually the first Maui Brewing Company brew pub. So they opened the doors to this brew pub on January the 28th, 2005, and demand for their beers proved to be, pretty big, and it continued to grow over the next couple of years, and they began to brew their beers at another separate facility in 2007, and then in 2012 they expanded further and opened another larger brewery that took their production up from 18,000 barrels a year to 40,000 barrels, and that new factory that they actually produced was helped with a government kind of funded loan, which was quite cool. So they are a very, very well respected small business, but they've continued to expand their sales, and today they employ over 400 people, and they've won several different small business awards as well. They run 4 restaurants, and they've got one in Lahaina and Kihei, both on Maui of course, and they've also got ones on Oahu, in Waikiki and Kailua as well. So they've got 4 different restaurants across the Hawaiian Islands. And yeah, I think these guys, Kona are the other fairly big Hawaiian brewery, but they brew a number of their beers on the mainland US actually. So these guys are a kind of fully or wholly Hawaiian brewery, if you like, which is very, very cool. It is cool to see that even in remote places like this, you are getting some really nice little craft breweries. I know in Guam actually there are 1 or 2 craft breweries down there as well, which is really interesting. That's another place that I really need to visit. So maybe in the future when I'm based in Japan, that is something that we will look at doing. So yeah, but yeah, cool to finally get around to reviewing one of the beers from these guys. We can get rid of the brewery notes now and get on to the actual tasting of this beer itself. So like I mentioned to you, this one is it's an 8.5% double IPA. Just let you have a little look at the artwork again before we open this one up. There you can see quite a nicely presented beer, this. I do like the can on this. I do like the sort of tribal, the native Hawaiian artwork on this. There you can see the Maui Brewing Company symbol is this kind of tribal art sea turtle. I think that's very, very cool. And you can also see one of the other things that's really cool about this, it does tell you which out of the Hawaiian Islands, I forget, is it 7 islands, maybe 8, out of the different Hawaiian islands. You can see there on it, the white one is Maui, because the Hawaiian Islands, there's the big island in the kind of southern part of it, and then you go further north and you get all these little islands dotted about. But very, very cool artwork in this, so I have to say thumbs up to Maui Brewing Company for that. But yeah, it says on the side here, rich, slightly malty body supports this generously hopped Imperial India Pale Ale. But yeah, this one I think will be very, very nice, and it says best before the 3rd of May 2019, and I'm guessing that this one, you know, usually when they can beers in America, they give them a sort of, if it's an IPA or a double IPA, they usually give them a sort of 6-month kind of shelf life thing. So I think this one would have been canned somewhere around the start of December. So yeah, I think I bought this one just at the very end of December, so it will still be fairly fresh, I would think. But yeah, nicely presented beer, this one. I think I'll keep this can because, as I say, this is a brewery that I've wanted to review for quite some time. This one I believe is 355 millilitres, which is 12 fluid ounces. The Americans like to use strange measurements, I think, when it comes to actually you know, putting their beers in cans and stuff like that, but you know, we're obviously used to 330s and 500 milliliter cans over here in Europe. But I'll tell you straight away, as we open up this beer, you get a lovely kind of dose of fruit. I suspect that there's a little bit of Simcoe in this one. You know, the passion fruit in this is jumping out right away. You know, there's just something in my head that's saying there's a bit of Simcoe in this hop, or in this beer, sorry. It's a very, very distinctive passion fruity note that's coming out of this one. But yeah, as you can see with this beer, if I hold it up to the light, this one, for a double IPA, normally, you know, they can be lots and lots of different colours, but to me, this one is one of the more yellow double IPAs that I've come across. I'm not sure how well you guys are seeing the colour on the screen here, but yeah, when I hold this one up to the light, it is leaning towards the orangey side of things, but it does have a good little yellow tint to it. But I mean, nothing overly surprising from this beer in terms of its appearance. You know, this, you know, quite easily looks like a double IPA. A solid finger, I would say, of a frothy. Yeah, I would go for perfect white head on this one. It's not even got a little bit of a kind of creamy tint to it. If I put my fingers behind the glass, you can see this beer is quite hazy. I don't think this one is, you know, it's not a New England IPA, I don't think, to be quite honest with you. But yeah, really nice, nice looking beer. This one or two big bubbles sticking towards the side of the glass, and a few little ones just heading up towards the bottom of the head there. But you know, overall, it does look pretty nice actually. So yeah, let's take a closer look at the aroma and just see how we get on with this one. Nothing overly surprising in terms of its appearance. But yeah, with this beer then, you do get a lovely little hint of, there's passion fruit in this. I think there's a little bit of mango or something in. I would suspect maybe there's a bit of, I think they've used, I'm pretty certain they've used Simcoe in here. That's jumping out at me straight away. You know, Simcoe's a very straight up kind of passion fruit hop. A lot of brewers now though are using Galaxy from Australia because it gives you that passion fruit, but it also gives you a little bit of pineapple and things like that. And of course, I guess with the proximity, they could be using a little bit of Galaxy in this one. I'm not sure exactly when this beer was introduced, but I do suspect, just from the way the passion fruit's coming out, I've had Galaxy's only appeared on the scene. I had it when I was in Australia a couple of years back, right enough, but it's only really appeared on the international beer scene, you know, in the last couple of years. So, yeah, with this one, I think it's Simcoe. There's just something in my head that's telling me the passion fruity note in this is Simcoe. But yeah, there's a bit of orange in there. There could be a little bit of an Amarillo because it's quite an oily orangey note that's coming out of this one, I think. And there's another little bit of tropical fruit in there. I want to say there's a little bit of like a mango or maybe some lemony lime notes. There could be some citra in here. But I think, if I was betting, I would think that maybe it's Simcoe, a bit of Amarillo maybe. It could, you know, it could in fairness be like a Zaka or something like that. But I do think it's more Amarillo just because of the way the oranges are coming out. I would bet there's Simcoe, Amarillo, and there's something else in here. I'm not quite sure if it's Citra because there is a little bit of that that sort of limey quality kind of coming out of this one. It does have a little bit of a lemon limey note, which is kind of which is interesting. So just pay attention to that when you're having a look at the aroma of the beer. So yeah, in terms of the sort of floral grassy side of the hops, there's a little bit of I'd say it's more floral, this one, but there is a good little bit of a grassy presence in there. It does have a little bit of that kind of darkness that you would expect from the you know, from these big American hops. You do get a little touch of dankness out of this one. The malt base, I would say it's got a little bit of a biscuity note to it. There is a little touch of caramel in there as well, but you can smell there's a sort of white kind of bready note. I wonder if they're using two-row in this, because it does have that bready but biscuity presence to it. And also a little bit of caramel. I wonder if there's some American two-row malts in here. But yeah, it smells like a really, really nice beer, this one. Lovely, juicy, fruity notes. And yeah, I'm just very, very curious to have a go at this one now. So yeah, this one is the Double Overhead Double IPA 8.5% from Maui Brewing Company on Maui Island in the Hawaiian Islands over in America. Shout out again, cheers to Koji at Liquor Shop Asahia and Scott, who's followed the channel for a very long time. Slanja, Skull, Kampai. I'm not sure what the Hawaiian word is actually, but let's get stuck in. Cheers. Oh yeah. That beer is still pretty damn fresh, I have to say. First impression of this though is that it's very well balanced. I have to say that. This one, the malty characters are coming out really nicely in this, and this is something I've always said, you know, a lot of the focus these days has been on the, you know, the New England hazy IPAs. And you know, I've always felt, you know, you go back to the West Coast IPAs, they're these big bitter bombs of beers, right enough. And you know, having a little bit of caramel and biscuit and things in the malt base, I've always just found that adds a little bit more complexity to the beer than the kind of oaty creaminess. And I do like the New England IPAs, but you know, when you have so many of them in kind of quick succession, you do miss the things like this that have got a bit of a kind of stronger malty presence to them. And I'm noticing that they are starting to make a little bit of a comeback actually. I'm seeing some of these New England IPAs that are less kind of creamy, if you like, and they are starting to bring a little bit of a malty quality back into them, which is nice. But to me, this one, in terms of putting this into one of the IPA sort of subcategories, I think this one leans a little bit more, definitely more of a kind of West Coast-ish IPA, this one. I've missed that big hoppy kick so much, to be quite honest with you. I love these West Coast IPAs. So yeah, with this beer then, let's focus on the malt base first. You can feel that nice kind of bready quality, that just blankets the middle of your tongue. On top of that, in the centre of your palate, you start to feel there's a nice little bit of a kind of caramelly sweetness in there. I do, as I say, I'm still wondering if, from the flavour of this one, if there's a little bit of two-row in here. And there's lots of different types of two-row malts, but I've always found these American two-row malts have a lovely sort of bready and biscuity and caramelly sort of combination of flavours, because you get everything like that from this beer. But yeah, you can feel that nice smooth bready quality, that blankets the middle of your tongue. In the centre of your palate, you can feel there's a little bit of there's definitely a little touch of a nice kind of biscuity sweetness to it there, but right in the centre of your tongue you've got a little bit of a slightly richer caramel, and as you move further out from that, it's a little bit more of a kind of biscuity, kind of grainy quality as well, which is really nice. I like what they're going for with the malt base in this one, and as I've always said, having a good malt base can really just add a bit more character to the beer, in my opinion. On the hoppy side of things then, back corners of your palate, little touch of earthiness there, as you kind of usually get. But as you come further forward along the sides of your tongue, you've got a good bit of that kind of floral, aromatic quality to this beer, which is it's really nice. As I say, I've missed these big bitter kicks, and then round the very front curve of the palate, it's just a little bit lighter and grassy, and behind the front curve of the tongue, that's where you start to get that oily bubble, where those kind of fruity, juicy esters start to come out of the beer. Yeah. This is nice. You know, I've always said this about IPAs. I love the more orangey IPAs. You know, Mosaic, Azaka, Mandarina Bavaria, Pacifica from New Zealand, and good old Amarillo from America. I love it when you've got a good orangey kick to some of these beers, and this one certainly has that. There is a little bit of passion fruit in this one. It's not the most pronounced of passion fruity flavours, I would say, but when you examine that little oily bit behind the front curve of your tongue that I was talking about, if you just go towards the back of it, you can feel that almost slightly darker passion fruit flavour coming out of this beer. But a little bit further forward than that, I think you're getting the kind of the more oily, orangey qualities out of this one, and I do suspect there's a bit of Amarillo in this one. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's Amarillo in that. We have a very good brewery here in Sweden called Opigårds Brewery, and they've got an IP, this IPA that's just called Amarillo, single hop Amarillo beer, and it's lovely. And I'm pretty sure with the flavours that are coming out in this one, there is Amarillo in this beer, and I think definitely Simcoe as well. I'm pretty sure of that. I always like playing guess the hops with these beers when you don't know what's in it. But yeah, passion fruits, oranges. The further into the aftertaste you go, I think the passion fruit starts to come out a little bit more. You do start to get these slightly darker tropical fruit flavours the further into the aftertaste you go. There could well be a little bit of a kind of citrusy note to this one. There is a little bit of a more kind of tropically note. It's almost like a slightly lemon, limey kind of thing. It's more of a lime rather than anything else, but that's kind of right on the tip of your tongue, and it's very, very minor. It's not quite like, it could be a little bit like gooseberry or lychee or something like that. But yeah, I think that the main players in the fruity side of this beer, I think, are passion fruit and a more oily orange. It's not even like a sharp kind of tangerine or yuzu or anything like that. It is more of an oily, orangey quality that you're getting out of this one. But this is a lovely double IPA, and I just think it's a shame that I've had such a hard time finding something from this brewery, because this is a really good quality beer. So big thumbs up to Maui Brewing Company from this one. Hopefully I can review some of their other stuff fairly soon. Pardon me, just getting a little bit of gas from this one. But yeah, lovely beer this one, and I certainly wouldn't hesitate to drink this again. In terms of the mouthfeel, I would say mid-bodied beer, but at the top end of mid-bodied, maybe pushing full-bodied, to be honest with you. Carbonation's very smooth on this one. The mouthfeel leans towards the oily side of things. Good hoppy bitterness to this one. You know, this one is quite high in its IBUs. I think it's got to be around the 80. I think this is around the 80 mark in terms of its IBUs. Yeah. Could it be a little bit higher? No, I think 80. I think it's 80 IBUs, this beer. Good balance. As I say, the hoppy bitterness is very well balanced by the malty sweetness in this one. You've got a good little bit of smoothness to the malt base, but that sort of caramelly and biscuity flavour that you get in this one is really quite nice as well. And that, as I say, I just love these West Coast IPAs because that caramel balances out the other things just very, very nicely. And a lot of juicy fruit to this beer as well. I love the oily oranges and the kind of more tropical passion fruits, but a lovely beer this one, and I certainly wouldn't hesitate to drink it again. So if you get the chance to try this, I highly recommend that you do. I've heard very, very good things about this brewery, but this is my first time tasting one of their beers, and on the basis of this one, I'd certainly be very curious to try some of their other ones. But yeah, let's leave it at that for this one. This is just a really solid double IPA, leaning towards the West Coast side of things, this one, in my opinion. But they've done a really damn good job of it, so have a go at it for yourself and just see what you think. But yeah, this one was the Double Overhead, a lovely double IPA at 8.5% from Maui Brewing Company on Maui in Hawaii, over in America. So yeah, lovely beer this, and I'm glad that I was able to review it. So once again, thank you for watching my beer reviews. Until the next time, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. Let me know your own thoughts on this beer in the comment section below. Let me know what your favourite beers are from Maui Brewing Company, and hopefully we can return to these guys in the near future. Check out my social media, and I will catch you guys very soon with more beer reviews, and hopefully it's not too long before we return to Hawaii for another review again. Slanja, Skull, and Kampai.